Hello and thank you for tuning into News Today, where we break down the day's top stories with precision and clarity. Without delay, take a look at the headlines first. 13 districts of Assam were affected by floods due to cyclone Raymond. Sundhunukagigar volcano in southwestern Iceland erupted for the fifth time since December 2023. National Level Coordination Committee for World's largest grain storage plant held its first meeting in Delhi. Nuclear technologies are important tools for food safety, says FAO. Amendments to International Health Regulations IHR 2005 adopted. Global Purchasing Power Parities data released for 2021. In our very first news, in Assam, 13 districts have been severely affected by floods following the onslaught by cyclone Raymond. The National Commission on Floods reports that approximately 39.58% of Assam's total land area is flood-prone, making it highly vulnerable to such natural calamities. Let us understand the factors behind frequent floods in Assam. During the monsoon months, about 85% of the annual rainfall in the Brahmaputra basin occurs, leading to heavy flooding. Over 50 tributaries feed into the Brahmaputra and the Barak rivers, causing high discharge levels. Additionally, the high rate of bank erosion and the shifting course of the Brahmaputra river exacerbate the situation. Assam is also located in a seismically active zone, where earthquakes and landslides push sediments into rivers, raising riverbeds and increasing flood risks. Lastly, human activities such as deforestation, hill cutting, encroachments, and the destruction of wetlands have further worsened the flood situation. The impacts of these floods are devastating, resulting in the loss of life, property, and farmland. Floods disrupt transportation routes, commercial supplies, and pollute drinking water systems. They also damage vegetation and affect wildlife habitats, flora, and fauna. In response to the flood crisis, several initiatives have been put in place. Flood early warning systems disseminate information and issue timely alerts to the public. Flood management programs aim to prevent erosion and improve drainage in flood-prone areas. Additionally, the National Disaster Management Authority has issued guidelines on flood management to mitigate the impact of floods. Looking ahead, experts recommend non-structural measures such as flood forecasting, warning, and profiling, along with the regulation of reservoirs. Rejuvenating wetlands and local water bodies can improve drainage systems, acting as outlets for excess water and preventing waterlogging. There is also a proposal to establish a national integrated flood management group under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, as suggested by the Standing Committee on Water Resources, to oversee flood management. In conclusion, Assam's struggle with frequent floods highlights the need for comprehensive and integrated flood management strategies. As efforts continue to mitigate the impact, the focus must remain on both preventive measures and sustainable solutions. In our next news, in a captivating display of nature's power, the Sundhunukagigar volcano in southwestern Iceland has erupted for the fifth time since December 2023. As a land of fire and ice, Iceland's volcanic landscape is shaped by its location on the mid-Atlantic ridge in the North Atlantic Ocean, where the Eurasian and North American plates are gradually moving apart. Additionally, Iceland is situated on a hot spot, further amplifying its volcanic activity. If we talk about the global distribution of volcanoes, then they are not randomly scattered across the Earth's surface. Instead, they follow distinct patterns influenced by geological processes. One such pattern is the presence of hot spots, areas in the Earth's mantle from which hot plumes rise upward, forming volcanoes on the overlying crust. The Reunion hotspot is a prime example of this phenomenon. Another significant concentration of volcanoes is found along the Circum-Pacific Belt, also known as the Ring of Fire, which encompasses more than two-thirds of the world's volcanoes. Mount Ruapehu in New Zealand is a notable example within this belt. Volcanoes also form along divergent plate margins where tectonic plates move away from each other, such as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the longest mountain range in the world. Now, let's understand what a volcano is. It is essentially a vent in the Earth's crust through which gases, ashes, and molten lava escape to the surface. Volcanoes can be found on both land and the ocean floor and their eruptions release a variety of gases, including water vapor, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide. Volcanoes have both positive and negative impacts on the environment. On the positive side, volcanic materials, upon weathering, form fertile soils like the renowned black soil. Volcanoes are also rich sources of minerals such as iron and magnesium, which have various industrial applications. However, the negative consequences of volcanic eruptions cannot be overlooked. The ash and gases released during eruptions can increase the Earth's albedo, leading to a cooling effect on the planet. Moreover, volcanic eruptions can trigger infectious diseases like conjunctivitis and exacerbate chronic respiratory conditions. Volcanoes can be classified based on their eruption frequency and the type of eruption they exhibit. In terms of frequency, volcanoes are categorized as active, dormant, or extinct. Barren Island, situated in the Nicobar Islands, is the only active volcano in India. When it comes to the type of eruption, volcanoes are divided into three main categories: shield or dome volcanoes, composite volcanoes, also known as stratovolcanoes, and caldera volcanoes. Shield volcanoes, such as those found in Hawaii, are made up of basalt and have gentle slopes. Composite volcanoes, such as Mount Fuji in Japan, have steeper sides compared to shield volcanoes. Caldera volcanoes, such as the Yellowstone supervolcano in the US, are known for their explosive eruptions. In our next news, National Level Coordination Committee for World's Largest Grain Storage Plan held its first meeting in Delhi. The committee reviewed the implementation status of world's largest grain storage plan in cooperative sector. Let's begin by understanding more about the world's largest grain storage plan. It is initiated by Ministry of Cooperation as a pilot project in 2023 across 11 states. It is implemented by National Cooperative Development Corporation with support of NABARD, Food Corporation of India, Central Warehousing Corporation, NABARD Consultancy Services, and National Buildings Construction Corporation. The committee aims to develop agricultural infrastructures at primary agricultural cooperative societies level, including warehouses, fair price shops, etc. They intend to do this through convergence of various existing schemes, including Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, Agricultural Marketing Infrastructure Scheme, Submission on Agricultural Mechanization, and Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises schemes, etc. Furthermore, here are the benefits of the plan. Firstly, it will help ensure food security along with reduction of post-harvest loss, thus enabling farmers to earn better prices. It will also help minimize transportation costs between procurement centers, warehouses, and FBS. Lastly, it helps in prevention of distress sale by farmers at low rates. To improve grain storage capacity, several steps have been taken, which include Private Entrepreneur Guarantee Scheme for augmenting food storage capacity through private participation. Also, the Negotiable Warehouse Receipt issued by Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority is another initiative. It helps farmers to seek loans from banks against NWRs to avoid distress sales of agricultural produce. Wrapping up, let's take a closer look at the specifics of grain storage system. FCI is the nodal agency responsible for procurement, storage, and movement of food grains, public distribution, and maintenance of buffer stocks. It's important to note here that the FCI was set up under the Food Corporations Act 1964, and it works under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. To that end, Central Warehousing Corporation was established under Warehousing Corporation Act 1962 for warehousing of agricultural produce and other notified commodities. In our next news, nuclear technologies are important tools for food safety, says Food and Agriculture Organization. The role of nuclear technologies has been highlighted at the International Symposium on Food Safety and Control held in Vienna, Austria. This event was organized by the Food and Agriculture Organization and the International Atomic Energy Agency. This brings our focus to the positive uses of nuclear technologies. These can offer solutions to combat hunger, reduce malnutrition, enhance environmental sustainability, etc. Also, Such technologies are complementary to the One Health approach, that is an integrated, unifying approach that aims to sustainably balance and optimize the health of people, animals, and ecosystems. To grasp on this news better, let's acknowledge the role of nuclear technologies in food system. Polymerase chain reaction tests, which is a molecular nuclear technique, will rapidly detect diseases, ensuring animal health. Radioactive nuclides left behind after nuclear events can help scientists determine the health of soil and rate of erosion. Additionally, nuclear-based sterile insect technique can be used to manage pests. This technique involves mass rearing the insects, then sterilizing them through ionizing radiation before releasing them. Also, food irradiation or the application of ionizing radiation to food improves the safety and extends the shelf life by reducing or eliminating microorganisms and insects. Additionally, desired genetic changes can be done by irradiation. To improve the scope of using nuclear technologies in food systems, several key initiatives have been taken. At the global level, we have the Atoms for Food initiative by FAO and IAEA, and the joint FAO-IAEA Center of Nuclear Techniques in Food and Agriculture. In terms of initiatives at the national level, certain technology demonstration plants were set up for irradiation, like Krushak at Lasalgaon, Nasik for low-dose radiation treatment, and Radiation Processing Plant in Navi Mumbai for high-dose radiation treatment. Apart from that, FSSAI brought the Food Safety and Standards, Food Product Standards and Food Additives 6th Amendment Regulations 2016 to harmonize food irradiation rules with international regulation. In our next news, in a significant step towards bolstering global health security, the 77th Annual World Health Assembly meeting has concluded with the adoption of crucial amendments to the International Health Regulations 2005. Moreover, the WHO has extended the mandate of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Body established in 2021 to finalize the negotiation of a comprehensive pandemic agreement within the next year. The International Health Regulations, or IHR, succeeded the International Sanitary Regulations of 1951. It serves as an overarching legally binding framework that delineates the rights and obligations of countries in handling public health events and emergencies with the potential to spread across borders. With the membership comprising all 194 WHO member states, along with Liechtenstein and Holy See, the IHR plays a pivotal role in safeguarding global health security. The recent experiences of epidemics and pandemics, from the devastating Ebola outbreak to the ongoing COVID-19 crisis, have underscored the urgent need for enhanced public health surveillance, response, and preparedness mechanisms worldwide. To grasp on this better, let us have a look at the key amendments provided. Firstly, the amendments introduced a clear definition of a pandemic emergency as a communicable disease that has a wide geographical spread or poses a high risk of such spread, exceeding or potentially exceeding the ability of national health systems to respond effectively. Secondly, recognizing the disparities in health infrastructure and resources among nations, the amendments call for the establishment of a coordinating financial mechanism to address the specific needs of developing countries in the face of public health emergencies. Additionally, to facilitate effective implementation of the IHR, the amendments propose the formation of a States Parties Committee. And lastly, the amendments emphasize the importance of improved coordination among countries by mandating the creation of national IHR authorities. As a decision-making body of the World Health Organization, the World Health Assembly holds a critical position in shaping global health policies. Its primary functions include determining the policies of the organization, appointing the Director General, supervising financial policy, and reviewing and approving the proposed program budget. In conclusion, by defining pandemic emergencies, establishing financial mechanisms, creating a States Parties Committee, and mandating national IHR authorities, these amendments aim to bridge the gaps in global health security exposed by recent epidemics and pandemics. In our next news, in a groundbreaking release, the International Comparison Program has unveiled the Global Purchasing Power Parities data for 2021. Encompassing a staggering 176 economies worldwide. let's delve into the key findings and explore the significance of PPP in understanding the global economic landscape. The PPP data reveals that China, with a staggering $28.8 trillion, has emerged as the largest economy in 2021, closely followed by the US. However, India claims the third spot, boasting an impressive $11 trillion economy and accounting for a substantial 7.2% of the global GDP. It's worth noting that based on the GDP ranking, India currently holds the fifth position among the largest economies worldwide. The PPP data exposes a stark contrast between the economic clout of high-income and low-income economies. Despite comprising a mere 16.4% of the world's population, high-income economies command an astounding 46% of the global GDP. In contrast, low-income economies, home to 8.4% of the global population, account for a meager 1% of the world's economic output. But what exactly is PPP and why is it so crucial in economic analysis? PPP refers to the exchange rate at which one nation's currency would need to be converted into another to purchase the same basket of goods and services. It also provides a more accurate measure of the relative value of different currencies. It holds immense significance in providing a more accurate measure of living standards across countries compared to market exchange rates-based estimates. The market exchange rate often inflates the buying power of high-income countries, where prices are typically higher, while underestimating the purchasing power of low-income nations with lower price levels. In contrast, PPP exchange rates exhibit greater stability over time, offering a more reliable basis for international comparisons. Now, let us also understand the International Comparison Program, or ICP. It is a worldwide statistical initiative dedicated to collecting comparative price data and detailed GDP expenditures to produce PPPs for the world's economies. As a multi-partner initiative coordinated by the World Bank under the United Nations Statistical Commission, the ICP has been a permanent fixture in the Global Statistical Program since 2016. In addition to PPPs, the ICP also measures the Price Level Index, which represents the ratio of a PPP to its corresponding exchange rate. By providing a more accurate measure of living standards and economic output, PPP enables policymakers, researchers, and economists to make informed decisions and develop strategies for inclusive growth and development. In today's personality news, we will discuss Sukumar Sen. Recently, a biopic on the life of Sukumar Sen has been announced. He was the first Chief Election Commissioner of India and served from 1950 to 1958. In terms of his key contributions, he conducted first two Lok Sabha elections of India, 1952 and 57, simultaneously with the Legislative Assembly elections based on universal adult franchise. Many innovative methods were introduced under his leadership to conduct free and fair elections, such as indelible ink to avoid voter impersonation. He also served as a chairman of the International Election Commission. He was awarded with Padma Bhushan and displayed values of leadership, integrity, impartiality, etc. As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. OPEC Plus agreed to extend its deep oil output cuts into 2025. OPEC was established at Baghdad Conference in 1960 by Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. It currently has 12 members. Iran summoned China's envoy over a China-UAE statement questioning Iran's sovereignty over the disputed Abu Musa Island and two other islands. Abu Musa Island is rich in offshore oil and natural gas. As per experts, the phenomenon of greedflation is contributing to high rates of inflation in the Western countries. Greedflation means corporate greed is fueling inflation. Instead of the wage price spiral, it is the profit price spiral that fuels inflation. India participates in International Telecommunication Union's WSIS Plus 20 Forum High-Level Event 2024 in Geneva, Switzerland. The forum is co-organized annually by ITU, UNESCO, UNDP, and UNCTAD and co-hosted by ITU and Swiss Confederation. GSP Assembly calls for urgent action to improve and maintain health of at least 50% of world's soils by 2030 at 12th plenary session. It was established in 2012 by Food and Agriculture Organization. Indian researchers have discovered a new blue-colored ant species in Siang Valley. Siang Valley lies primarily in Arunachal Pradesh. Also, Brahmaputra River in Arunachal Pradesh is known as the Siang River. Phenome India CSIR Health Cohort Knowledge Base project successfully concluded the first phase. It is a flagship project launched by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in 2023. ISRO develops parallel RANS solver for aerospace vehicle aerothermodynamic analysis software. It is a computational fluid dynamic software. It can simulate external and internal flows on launch vehicles, winged and non-winged re-entry vehicles. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. We appreciate your company. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to today's quiz and to access the PDF version, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.